I can't have this horse beat.
I just think Grey Dawling's a completely wrong favourite.
It's here to light up the sprinting division, I feel.
Towards the top of the market, but as we say, probably class will prevail on Saturday.
Hello and a warm welcome to the Next Gen Racing YouTube channel for our Grand National Preview Special. Yes, we're going to be giving a top 5 bet for the Aintree Festival coming up this week. However, we are going to tie in a little bit of Meydan. If any of our top 5 bets of the weekend coming up are from Meydan, we are going to include them in this video. But we are going to talk all things national, and we are going to give a 1, 2, 3 at the end of the video. Looking forward to finding out who Jack likes in the National this year. As always, do like, comment, share and subscribe. Let us know down in the comments who your 1, 2, 3 is for the Grand National this year. Jack, a nice top 5 bets video. We like doing these on these big festival weeks. It's, you know, we kind of get to highlight our stronger fancies.
Oh, for sure, yeah. There's sometimes when you've got pretty uncontestable or uncompetitive grade ones, it's not really too much point us going through it. But hopefully we got 5 decent bets. It's a cracking weekend of racing, of course, with the likes of Dubai World Cup out in Meydan and Aintree. So looking forward to getting stuck into it.
Absolutely. Let's get straight into it then. I'm going to start off with my number 5, and it's my shortest price of the lot of the 5 that I'm putting up. It's in the Aintree Hurdle on Thursday at 3:30. And I think Lossiemouth, she's become a bit of a bet. I mean, I'm going to back her, and I wouldn't be, if I was going to leave this race alone, I'd let you know, but I am going to back her in this race. We didn't get to see the two of these, Constitution Hill and Lossiemouth, face off in the Champion Hurdle, and thank God we didn't. God knows what would have happened if we had another hot pot in that race. It was an absolute carnage race, the Champion Hurdle, but she went for the mares, and look, she did this as easy as you like. And the one thing to note about Aintree and their, what you could call their Champion Hurdle, their feature race over the hurdles, it's over 2 mile 4 rather than over 2 miles. And yes, I know Constitution Hill, he's won this race before, and I do kind of agree with what David Jennings said in the Racing Post this week, where he said this horse, when winning the Aintree Hurdle, beat Sharjah and towards the line. Look, I wouldn't say he was kind of crying towards the line, but how much was he finding? I can't give a definitive answer to say he was finding plenty, and I can't have a definitive answer to say, you know, he was finding little, but I do have a little bit of a question mark. He's coming here, Constitution Hill, on the back of the 4, and you've got Lossiemouth who's coming here off the back of a really easy success. And one thing you've got to note about her, she's only 6 years old. She feels like she's been around plenty, but she's still got such a big career to come. If this race was over 2 miles, I'd be leaving this race alone. But the fact it's over 2 mile 4, I do think Lossiemouth is a completely different kettle of fish over this distance for Constitution Hill. So I think it's around 9-4 currently. I think it's going to be a bet. I think Constitution Hill, he's worth taking on. It seems fashionable to take him on nowadays, Jack Constitution Hill, but she is going to be my number 5, Lossiemouth in the Aintree Hurdle. Your number 5, please.
My number 5 is going to come on Thursday in the 145, the Manifesto Novices Chase. I think it's a good race, actually, especially from, I suppose, a British trained horse's point of view. You got Django Bay, Handstands, Gidley Park in there. But look, Django Bay coming off a pretty tough run in the Arkle last time out. I think it's fair to say Handstands and Gidley Park, I think they're probably with a bit of juice underfoot, and I think we've got good ground, good to soft in places at the moment. We're going to have proper spring ground. I think that's going to play to the advantages of Rubo at 16-1. Harry Cobden's already jocked up there, but we just know he can handle 2 mile 4 and he can handle good ground, and that's where he's seen to best effect. Even when you look at him, his runs over hurdles, likes of his wins in the elite hurdle at Wincanter, and then at Kempton on his previous run before that, look, absolutely thrives on good ground. Won last time out at Kempton over 2.5, beating Boomborn. Got the job done. Probably would have liked to see him do it a little bit easier than that, but he was jumping left on occasion, so I think this should actually suit him. And like, he was behind Loader Sud at Warwick, but he actually put in a good effort that day on probably something which was maybe a little bit too sharp for him. So I think 16-1 about Rubo's a good each way price. He might not be good enough to win it, but I think he's going to have everything in his favour here, Sam.
Yeah, I thought Cobden gave the horse an exceptional ride the last day. It was, and yeah, look, didn't do it too easily, but the amount he found towards the line was plenty to be liked about that. So yeah, that's a good one, Rubo, for Jack on Thursday. You can go straight away with your number 4 then, Jack.
I'm sticking with Thursday. I'm actually going to the next race, the Grade 1 Juvenile Hurdle. Yep, Lambert probably should have won at Cheltenham. It turned into a little bit of a a sprint in the end, albeit probably the main contenders may have gone a little bit too soon. But Liv Conti is in there for Dan Skelton and Harry Skelton. I quite like the way he's been campaigned. He only had the one run at Weatherby, of course, 1 over 2 mile 2 in Altoy before joining the Skelton's yard. And I think they're quietly confident about him. Look, he got the job done at Weatherby, won by 3 lengths. It wasn't an amazing time on soft ground, but I think he does have a lot of ability, and I think it's a pretty muddled market. Of course, as you get to Aintree, it's always skewed towards horses that did run at Cheltenham, but I think he's got the ability to actually lay it up to the Lambert, and he's an each way price. So 8-1, Liv Conti, I think he's been almost smuggled into this. I know it's set ways, but he's been smuggled into this flying under the radar, and I think he'll be able to put a big performance in.
Yeah, they were. They were very confident on Liv Conti, to be fair, the Skeltons, they really were. But Lou Lambert, a lot of people think that's one of the hot pots of the Aintree Festival. Jack taking the horse on the Thursday. My number 4 comes in a novices hurdle. It's the top novices hurdle on Friday at 2:55. And I'm going to take a chance on Tripoli Flyer here at 9-2. This is one of these key horses that skipped the Cheltenham Festival for this meeting. And a horse who won really nicely at Kempton kind of towards the mid-end of February and beat Miami Magic by 7+ lengths, which may still be really good form. Jack and I were really sweet on Miami Magic that day. Fergal O'Brien does have some really classy horses, and he does like to run them at this meeting and have plenty of success. Now, the time wasn't amazing at Kempton, but what I liked about Tripoli Flyer was the turn of foot and what he showed towards line. He probably could have won this by further if he really wanted to. The favourite, Romeo Coolio, was third in the Supreme Novices Hurdle, and I may look very foolish in 8 months' time here, Jack, but Kopek de Boards, who won that Supreme, could be a very, very nice horse, don't get me wrong. But before he came along, 80% of fans thought that Supreme was going to be a questionable race, and it could still be the case. And I actually feel Romeo Coolio may actually want a little bit further as well. If this was again over 2 mile 4, I think Romeo Coolio would be the one to beat. But I do think Tripoli Flyer, he's a really quick horse, and I think he's going to have class on the ground. We are likely to get quick ground at Aintree. We have mentioned that it could be quite quick. But look, I may be humbled in time, and the Supreme might end up being a really decent race. But I think Romeo Coolio worth taking on at the top of the market. And 1 for the Brits, Tripoli Flyer, 9-2 for the Fergal O'Brien team. Now I'll go with my number 3, which comes from Meydan. And this comes in the Quoz Sprint, Saturday at 2:15. And my word, I am very, very excited by this horse. It's West Acre at 9-2. This is a lad who is here to light up the sprinting division, I feel, in the UK. George Scott, really aggressive already with this 3-year-olds campaign. No messing about whatsoever. 2 wins and 1 second on the all-weather as a 2-year-old. And Scott immediately went for races in Meydan. A second Charlie Appleby Symbol of Honour at the start of January on his first start on turf, and then has won a Group 2 and Group 3 in comfortable style, putting up RPRs of 113 and 114. The times have been quick, and well, they usually are when Pontos is in a race like this. But look, believing in the race, who's currently favourite, has a highest RPR of 118 when finishing second to Bradsell in the Nunthorpe, and we haven't seen that horse since October, so that horse is coming in here fresh. How Deep Is Your Love has been destroyed by Kaying Rising on his last couple of starts. I'm not sure, Jack, can you give too much of a word of How Deep Is Your Love and the form behind Kaying Rising?
I actually think he's got a good chance. He was close to making the top 5 list, but he's a bit of a closer. He's not going to be too prominent throughout, and I think he's probably going to need a little bit of luck in running. He might get the nice pace. He's a straight course specialist, I suppose. He's won over 5 furlongs at Chartin, and he looks like a decent sprinter, but I can't talk you out of West Acre.
Okay, there's a little word on How Deep Is Your Love. But look, I do like this horse, West Acre. A 3-year-old on the improve, is match fit. Scott thinks the world of him. I'd honestly be shocked, look, if this horse isn't short than 9-2 on the day. I think he's an absolute rocket. Really excited to what happens after Meydan as well for the rest of the flat turf season and seeing how Scott campaigns this horse. But yeah, West Acre, Saturday 2:15, I believe it's going to be in the Quoz Sprint in Meydan. Jack, your number 3, please.
Wow, you seem pretty confident there. Yeah, just quickly, I think Tripoli Flyer was a non-runner. I think they were intending to run in the Supreme, but had to kind of skip it. I think because of a vet certificate. But no, the Quoz Sprint's an absolute cracker. I think it's going to be a really good race. As I say, How Deep She Love's probably where I'd lean towards, but there's always the head over heart element that you need to try and bring it when you're based out here in Hong Kong. My number 3, though, is going to actually come in the national. My national selection is going to be number 3, and No, we were talking about this a little bit off air, and the National, has it lost its pizzazz, its sparkle a little bit? Yes, it probably has. Class usually comes to the fore, not as much of a test. It's kind of just another handicap chase, really. And I think Iroko, look, he's been clearly laid out for this all year. He's been ridden quietly, let's say, on his past two starts, and I think he's going to stay. Even when he won the Martin Pipe, he stayed really nicely. And when he ran at Aintree, albeit on a different course, was second to the Gold Cup winner. I know the way you're thinking, staying on at the line. So I don't think the trip's going to be an issue. He's been laid out for this all year, campaigned very quietly, and I think he's better than a rating of 152. So Iroko will be my Grand National selection for 2025.
Iroko then, yeah, Jack and I did say we were going to put a Grand National selection into our top five. It was a matter of where we put them. So let's get into mine. My next best for this video is going to be Hewick in the Grand National, currently at odds of 10-1. The story goes on, and I have to be with him, Jack. Look, there's been plenty said about him in the last couple of weeks, with Shark's comments being all over the Racing Post and all over my Twitter feed. But we all know the great story of this £800 purchase. We don't need to go into that. But he had a really nice match fit run over hurdles a few weeks back against Asterion for Londra. He did that really nicely, and that would be to just get him revved up for a race like this. I know the trip will be a question mark, like it is for many of these, but we know this horse stays after watching that King George from a couple of years ago under Gavin Sheehan. And Gavin Sheehan gets the ride once again here. He seemed really keen to get back on this horse, and I just think that they have got this horse really, really well lined up for a race like this. Look, he's small, a very small horse, but don't let that put you off in the Grand National. Little Tiger Roll, a prime example of that. He carries 11 stone 7, but I do think with this quick ground that we're expecting, he's just going to spring off it. He really is. His jumping's clean, his attitude's there, his connections are confident, and Hewick, well, God knows what will happen if he wins the 2025 Grand National. The scenes at Aintree Racecourse will be something else, and I'll be lucky enough to hopefully be there to see it. But I'm going to have Hewick as the winner at 10-1 of the Grand National. Jack, your next best, please.
My next best comes in the Aintree Bowl, actually. I've usually been an Hoist and Your fan in the Aintree Bowl. I just think Grey Dawning's a completely wrong favourite. He's 9-4 at the moment. He's ran once on good ground at Kempton, where, of course, smashed into the first and was pulled up soon after. There's a non-runner on good ground in Wetherby. I think he wants it much deeper, and I can't see him going off favourite at all. And on that basis, I really want to take him on. And Stage Star's going to be the one for me. I really like the way he stepped up to the extended 3 mile in the Cotswold Chase. Yes, he was beaten by Long Press. Yes, it probably wasn't the most exhilarating piece of form, but he's been a consistent performer over 2.5 miles in these big handicaps. Things didn't necessarily go right for him really this season. I thought he ran an okay race in the old road and couldn't quite go and do anything in the December Gold Cup. But Harry's going to be there. He's going to be prominent on him. I think he's going to stay, as we saw last time out. I don't think the ground's going to be too much of an issue. And of course, he's bred to stay the 3 miles we saw last time out. So 6-1 at an each way price. I think he's actually a really good bet in the Aintree Bowl.
There you go, Stage Star then in the Aintree Bowl. A lot of people excited about Grey Dawning, but Jack thinks could potentially be vulnerable there, and there's a bit of value in Stage Star's price. Let's get into the best bet then of the weekend coming up, Jack, and I'll let you go first here. Who is the best bet of the week?
The best bet of the week actually does come out in Dubai, and it is going to be a Japanese raider in the Shima Classic. Shin Emperor's 11-2. I don't think he should be in an each way price. I know it's a good race with Kalandagan and Rebels Romance there, but look, he's answered every question that's been popped of him so far. The full brother to Sasu cost, I think, 2.3 million, was it? Euros. So look, he's a 4-year-old colt who's still got plenty more to give. Third in the Irish Champion Stakes. Didn't like the ground at all in the Arc, and then finished second in the Japan Cup on his penultimate start before winning a decent Neon Cup turf, I think it was, a Group 2 out in Saudi. But I really like the way he dictated proceedings over an extended 10 furlongs. To step up to 1.5 miles will suit. It'll be ridden prominently. It'll be pretty straightforward. I think he stays 1.5 miles, and I think he's due a big win like this. So I think he'll be able to get his Group 1 win, Shin Emperor, in the Shima Classic on Saturday.
Shin Emperor in the Shima Classic on Saturday for Jack, and get those lucky shin pads out, because my number one comes in the UAE Derby on the dirt Saturday 250. It's going to be Shin Forever at 7-2 in this race here. This is the nap of the night, Saturday, whatever you want me to say. I can't have this horse beat. I think Golden Vekoma, who won that Saudi Derby, Jack, you were out there. You know how confident I was on Golden Vekoma. I was just so surprised at how well Shin Forever put it up to Golden Vacoma. I thought Golden Vacoma was going to win it really, really comfortably and did do it fairly comfortably, but I thought Shin Forever put it right up to this horse and was shocked by that. It was probably his best performance by a long way, looking back and looking at some of his other runs back out in Japan. I do think that he's definitely taken another step forward. I looked at the market, and I'll be totally honest, I didn't know too much about Flood Zone until I looked at the market and had a look back at the horse chat. But this horse has only ever had one run. Yes, winning a Grade 3 in really comfortable style at Aqueducts, and the time was really, really good. But how a horse can be 9-4 after a one start in a race like that at Aqueduct, God knows what he beat that day. But he's far, far too short. I can't go too much into detail with regards to these horses because there's not overly amount to go on, but I do think that Shin Forever has definitely put up the best performance, already been out in Saudi. Again, another horse who's certainly match fit and done it in races that are very similar to this. But Shin Forever, he's going to go all the way and he's going to win at the UAE Derby. Really excited about that. So yeah, Shin Emperor and Shin Forever. A lovely little
Shin
nap.
double, nice and simple.
Yeah,
Nice and
it's
simple.
nice. I like that. Nice that. I don't know how many times you'll hear a Shin double on the channel, but there we go. We'll take it. So there we go. That's our top 5. Like I say, let us know down in the comments who your Grand National selection is, who your best bet of the whole weekend is. It's going to be a cracking weekend coming up. But we are going to give a Grand National 1, 2, 3. You want to find out who we think is going to come first, second and third in the National, see if we can pick out the TriCast. And I agree with what Jack said. The Grand National has become a race where you can see classier horses win the races now. The fences are a lot lower. There's less runs. It does suit horses who run well over the cross country. It seems like a kind of a glorified cross country race now. But yeah, let's see who our 1, 2, 3 is. And it's a little bit boring, Jack, but I think Hewitt, like I say, he'll win the race. I think Vanillier will come second. I think he's well weighted, and don't ignore what happened in that cross country and where he ended up finishing and how he ended up finishing that race. And I Am Maximus, last year's winner, is carrying £6 more than last year. The plan was clearly to come back here. He's been lightly campaigned, and I do think he's one of those that have been there and done it. And if he can jump around the fences once again, he's going to be thereabouts at the finish. So Hewitt, Vanillier, and I Am Maximus, my 1, 2, 3. And Jack, your 1, 2, 3 is?
Yeah, we're seeing from similar hymn sheets here, Sam. I've got Iroko to win it, Vanillier in second, and Hewitt in third. 3 towards the top of the market, but as we say, probably class will prevail on Saturday.
That's what I mean. Like, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I'd be looking for 50 to 1 shots that could potentially be in the frame. I just can't see it, and it's just the way the National has ended up being. Let us know again in the comments if you do agree with that statement. But yeah, 5 top bets from myself and Jack there, and a 1, 2, 3 for the Grand National. Really looking forward to this week. We've got a fantastic week of sport coming up with the Aintree Festival starting on Thursday, and then the World Cup night on the same day as the Grand National. Good luck to Racing TV, who have the rights over here for those trying to fit everything in with regards to that. But looking forward to watching that on the telly at Aintree this week. Big thanks to Jack, as always. We're going to have a little bit of a break now. We've obviously got this video up on a Monday evening, but we will be back the following week on Thursday with another weekend preview. But until then, do like, comment, share, and subscribe. Remember to gamble responsibly, and we'll see you again very soon.